So on this one, basically what I did was I had a lot of fun just kind of, putting stuff together, putting tubes in, different places. So what I had done previously to the car, I went ahead, I plated the back end where the tailgate goes, right where like kind of the main structure of everything that kind of resides right there is where I plated. I used 1/8 inch plate. I just cut out a piece by hand. This was before the CNC machine was up and running. Cut out a piece by hand, kind of like made a scribe, basically made a weak spot and then welded it back together, which is plenty fine, whatever. Kind of like the other tube in the front of the subframe, I made that a while back as well. I was just kind of like going back and forth like with what material I had at the time. Now that's kind of like played into like where I can put tubes and kind of mount everything up. So obviously one thing I did was I radiused the quarter panels. There's going to be a lot more poke than there is shown on camera, as far as these like later pictures or the most up-to-date ones. There's going to be a lot more poke, and I'm still going to be doing the wide body. Some people are saying, why are the wheels so tucked in if you're going to do a wide body? The wheels are not a proper offset, backspace, all that jazz. They aren't going to be, they're going to be the same size that I want, which are 18 by 10 and a half, 10 and 11. They're going to be the same exact size. I just need a wheel that's really sunk in, if that makes sense. So the wheel needs to have a really negative offset, which when you take a wheel and you have it on a 0 plane, so you go from, from edge to edge, and if you have a 0 offset, that's going to be right in the middle, usually. If you go positive with it, that's going to sink the wheels in a lot, because the face is going to come outward towards the outer edge, so the wheel's going to go in. If you have a really negative offset, the negative offset will push the wheel out because the face is going towards the back, towards the mounting surface. So that's what's going to happen, is I'm going to need a proper wheel offset for the front and the back. For now, I am going to be using some wheel spacers, and whatever your thoughts are on wheel spacers, keep it to yourself. I've seen plenty of cars with spacers and high horsepower and everything, and it's no big deal to me. I've seen it on even pro cars. So like, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's gonna poke the wheels out a lot, and that'll give me the idea for the wide body when that time comes. But that being said, I'll just kind of show you guys everything that's been done to the car, bent and cut and designed things. So Rightio, folks, let's take a little bit of an intermission and discuss what I have done so far. Because, I mean, obviously, I'll show you guys the work, the little frazzle and dazzle, and the, you know, all that jazz. Anyways, yeah, so did a lot of cutting, a lot of notching, a lot of polishing. And this is just like the beginning, but damn, this thing is looking
beautiful.
It's looking pretty fine, pretty snazzy. Anyways, this is what I've been doing and putting together, obviously, as you guys can tell from watching. But anyways, cleaned up this plate a bunch, kind of polished the top and sides of this tube. It's hard to get the bottom, especially when I have these like strut, kind of like braces here. That's just to brace the back end of the body, which I probably don't need those anymore, but I'm going to just play it safe, leave them for now, and then I'll cut them off once I have some more attachments to the back end of the car back here. I did obviously the mounts and everything for the subframe itself, so yeah, and polish those bad boys up, and it's looking great. The sad part, the downside, is they're gonna get really dirty from the dust, and you know, it sits outside, so that's the prettiest they're gonna look at the moment, which is sad. I wish it would look like that all the time, but that won't happen.
Bottom line, not gonna happen.
Anyway, so yeah, so one thing I need to do, so I checked my, you know, my front and then my side to side to make sure everything was good. I still need to go through and go back and check the angle of the flange, like the pinion flange or the yoke flange, whatever you want to call it. The whole, that Wazamazoo right there.
Moving again, I think y'all ought to go jogging and swimming in a water bunch, man. They're gonna be bad having you pooping just like you used to, man.
So I need to check that just to make sure it's leveled, because I do believe that this is where everything's gonna sit and that's where it's gonna ride. Obviously, when the time comes to cut the quarters some more, I will do that and get rid of that top piece there, because that top piece is honestly gonna be in the way. And yeah, so that's gonna have to go bye-byes. What else? Oh yeah, so these front points right here, I don't know if I'm going to go off of this tube just yet, or if I'm gonna come off of the points kind of like I did in the back. But I'm gonna just make something simple that kind of just goes down into this tube right here, because that tube down there, not this boy, that boy, that tube there is attached to the rockers, like the rocker frame, rocker chassis. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? The rocker chassis, rocker frame, whatever you want to call it, it's attached to that, so, which is basically the frame. So what I'm going to do is probably just take some tubes and go straight down right there. The thing that I like a lot about IRS setups is the entire cradle does not move, neither does the differential. It might move slightly, but not a lot. All the movement is in the axles and the arms, and then of course, you know, the spindles and all that crap. But that whole assembly, like the wheel, comes up and down, none of this moves. So even if I do take a tube that goes from yay to yay, it's not going to interfere with anything moving, if that makes sense. This isn't going to be here. This is just a reference point for me, just to figure, just to get my points across, all my reference points for the chassis. Anyways, so yeah, one thing I definitely need to figure out is if, you know, where my placement will be for these front tubes. Probably gonna do that tomorrow. It's getting a little late, and I got some things to do on the computer and everything. So yeah, this is great, because once I make these two tubes, the rear end will be temporarily in place and where it's going to sit and lie for the remainder of its life. What else? Oh, and then this tube here is going to be the cross tube that's going to go from B pillar to B pillar. So I'm going to just go straight across, make the chassis, you know, simple underneath. It doesn't need to be anything complex, or maybe, I don't know. But I'm gonna take that, go from yay to yay, yay. And then going to take the main hoop that I had already bent up, clean it up, try to polish it up as best as I can. I know that thing is filthy and dirty. It's been sitting outside, you know, whatever. I'm gonna clean all this crap out because this portion of the tube is gonna get welded to the B-pillars on both sides. So like I said, everything's gonna be permanently in here. I have no reason to take the body apart from the chassis. As cool as that is, I have no reason to do it. You know, it would be cool to ride around with just tubes, but you know, whatever. I don't care to do that. So yeah, this is gonna get welded to this. It's gonna be very tight. Probably do some gusset plates in the middle as well, down here. Not to that point just yet, but that'll attach all this. And then what I can do once the main hoop is in is start going to the back. So I'll work my way from the middle, go to the back. So then I will have, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make some sort of like an X brace up here. I'm still gonna try and ride some tubes on the C pillars back here, just because I want to strengthen these up quite a bit too. So I need to take those trim panels off. There's some trim panels just sitting there. Take those off, clean up the steel, get that welded to this. What else? So yeah, I'll have something going crazy back here, and then once I get to like this point back here, then I can start attaching things to the rear end. As far as some sort of diagonal tubes going down to it, I am gonna do some like drag style, maybe not drag style, but I'm gonna do some sort of like down bars that come from the top. So I kind of left this space open, by the way, for like fuel cell. I still don't know what fuel cell I'm gonna run. I don't know the sizes, whatever. Figure it out, but it has a potential to just drop through these tubes. So yeah, I'll figure that out later, but at least I left the room. Anyways, so I'm gonna have some down bars coming back here, probably attached here in the center, so that still leaves room for the fuel cell or whatever. Not too sure on that yet, but I do know I want to do some crazy cool like down bars, you know, not just straight. I want to do them in like kind of a Y fashion or a V fashion, and then do something in the middle of them and just kind of brace everything up. And then the cool thing about that is once, you know, I get some more bars in here, more tubes, I can kind of see like where I can branch out to attach the quarter panels to the top, you know. So I want to attach them on the bottom, and I want to attach them on the top to the chassis, so that there's no weird flex or anything. There's just, it's going to be super rigid back here. Once I get everything kind of put together back here, then I can finally move to the front. Still haven't decided what I'm going to do up there, but you know, that's for a later day. We're not focused on that. That's going to be somewhat of an easy part, just because I kind of know where everything's going to go. All I have to do is bolt the fenders back up, and I can get my center line of where that's the axles or the hubs are supposed to be. The hard part is going to be, I don't have a transmission yet, so I don't exactly know where the JZ and the transmission are going to sit. So that's the hard part. I need to figure out a transmission that I'm going to run, and especially a strong transmission, because I don't know where all that's going to sit. Like I said, that's for a later date. We're not worried about that. We're not even that far. But yeah, so definitely making the progress. I will jump back on this probably tomorrow, and then, you know, make some more videos for you guys, and we'll see what happens from here. You know, push forward, make progress every single day. So, like I said, thanks again for all the support. Just kind of threw in some zazz in this video, so hopefully you guys like it. I'm gonna just be adding a bunch of things here and there. Gonna try to up the production a little bit. Gonna try to talk to the camera more often. I know I don't do it as often. It's just like I'm more focused, busy. Just my brain wants to make progress and get things done rather than talk to the camera. But I know I need to talk to the camera and actually explain what I'm doing, because it's hard for people to know where my vision is at and like where I see the end product. So I guess it's good to have the explanation. But with that said, thanks again for everything. I am going to jump back on getting more tubes bent and cut, designed things. So peace, dudes. Appreciate it.